Chase, happy Wednesday. It is the 17th of June, 2026. The Midwest could be windy. And I think we're okay right now, but we could be going to the basements anytime here in St. Louis.
Maybe not tonight. The weather report I saw, I mean, yes, we've had the wind. We certainly had a lot of wind today, but I saw all the storms were way northeast of us. So I think we're going to be okay.
We're good.
The night.
Chase, I have a technical question that's going to require you going back in time.
Oh, okay, sure. I'd love to go back in time. How far back in time?
Nintendo 64.
Oh, okay. The good old days.
The good old days. All right.
Sure.
Well, let me ask this question. Have you played the demo for Star Fox on the Switch 2? Okay. So maybe you can help out with this then.
Okay.
When you played Star Fox and you start a mission, good luck, like that would be said.
Yes.
It sounded weird. But
yeah, like modulated, yeah.
Correct. In Star Fox 64, did Rob 64 glitch and malfunction, and because he was talking normal and he glitches, and that's what changes the voice that makes the good luck thing sound different?
I don't remember Rob glitching. I just thought
so I'm pretty sure in this demo, in the training portion, when they say good luck, he glitches because he's talking normal.
Oh, you think in the demo,
yes,
he glitches just so they can have a similar voice sample?
Yes.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I can see that happening. I can't remember that happening.
Maybe replay that tonight when we're done and just text me and let me know if I'm crazy. But he's talking normal. And I think they do a callback where he glitches and his voice modulates down to that sound clip of the good luck. And I thought that was really fucking cool. If that's how they wink and nod at it, that's a great way to do that.
There are some good winks and nods in there. And I didn't mark that down as a game I played this week, but I guess I should.
You want to talk about it?
Sure, let's just talk about it since we're already talking about it. I think that demo is good. It feels like Star Fox. It changes nothing about what I've said before, where I was like, hey, the demo's over. I could just go play Star Fox 64 and finish this fucking game right now.
Yep.
There does feel, as many times as there are things that will homage, and you're like, oh yeah, that's just like from the 64 game. There's so many other things that I was going, well, that's not the line. They changed that line. They changed the way you said that. Why would you do that?
I know.
I thought the whole idea was to be this nostalgic trip back for these people, while also being a new thing for other people. I was like, but he doesn't. Peppy doesn't say use the boost to brake. He'll say do a barrel roll because you got to say that one.
You got to say the word.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, man.
Where it was like Uncanny Valley, where it's so close to just Star Fox 64 that I'm like, it's almost there, but the parts that aren't make it so much more obvious that it's not Star Fox 64.
I had such a good time on that demo. I was just really impressed with how well it looks and runs and plays and feels. It felt great. It looks great. I think especially in handheld mode, this thing shines. It looks just awesome. I did love playing on the big screen with the Pro controller, but I think the demo did exactly what it needed to do for me. Is just okay, I understand that you are remaking a game to have a higher looking fidelity, and you're taking some artistic creativity with what this is by adding in some in between the mission stuff, which is cool. But is this going to feel like some of the other games? Tactics Ogre comes to mind, where it's this looks fresh. I've always wanted to play this, but you get into it and it's oh, this feels old. It doesn't feel modern enough. And I don't want it to feel modern in the sense that it abandons what made the core of Star Fox 64 great, but I did want it to feel good, and it felt great. It moved good. Everything was smooth as butter. The shooting, the haptics, all that was cool.
I'm with you, but also, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you two questions. When's the last time you played Star Fox 64?
The true Star Fox 64 or the 3DS version of it?
Either one.
I've played the 3DS one recently.
Okay. that game still already feels good.
It does, and I
like
have a
I
version
would
of it that runs at a higher frame rate on the Thor, which looks good.
sure, but like even when I go back and play that game, I would not say Star Fox 64 feels old in
Sure,
the way that like, oh, we can modernize it and make the mechanics work all that differently. It's like the mechanics are just the mechanics. Everything works basically the same. The controls are the same. I don't have the N64 controller that goes with the Switch, but I bet if I did, and I don't know if you can play it with that. I
I think you
imagine you probably
can.
could,
Actually, I have that controller. I need to charge that up, and I'll try that.
but I bet it plays exactly the same.
You would
So
just move the somersault would be over on the C buttons, right?
right, yeah, somersault and all range mode, like going to
Mhm.
180 and stuff like that. But it's it is kind of just the game again. But the
Are you going to
game,
get it?
no, I have the game. I have
That's
Star
fair.
Fox 64. I'm very comfortable. I did buy Star Fox 64 3D for the 3DS, and I
Yeah,
played it there, and I had a great time. Like I'm fine with ports. I'm fine with ports that bring
sure.
things over to more modern hardware. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited about Muramasa coming to Switch and coming to other platforms, because that doesn't have a modern place in our gaming sphere right now. But when it comes to a remake of a game that I do have accessible, it's on the Switch. It's
Sure.
on the Switch for free if you have the Nintendo Switch Online service. You can just play that video game.
That's fair. Hang on, I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of this
I can do
jack.
it.
Okay. I'm an easy mark. I did pre-order the game.
Oh my God, Bobby.
I told you I was picking it up when we did the preview. Like I'm in. Like I don't have a lot on the Switch. Like I have a Switch 2. I'm not really playing third-party things on it. You know that. Like the Switch for me is an exclusive thing. So if there's a game that I am remotely interested in on the Switch right now, like I want to do that. Now,
I know it's unfair, but pre-ordering a game you already own multiple times over
no,
is
man.
wild to me.
Listen, I'm excited. I want to support it. I'm really looking forward to this thing. $50 I think is a little steep for a remake, but it's not as steep as I've seen other ones. I'm curious to see like where they pull certain threads. Like, is there going to be other different shit that happens further into this? But it's been a minute since I've sat down and like 90-minuted this whole thing
Yeah.
and played all of it. So I really look forward to trying to play through this on a stream with you. I asked if you were getting it purely for the multiplayer stuff. Like if that was going to be something, then
Because the multiplayer stuff is the genuine new thing
Totally.
in that game,
Totally.
and that does seem cool. Like
Yeah.
there were like dogfighting modes in
There was.
64, but this is much more expanded than that, and that part does seem really neat. I don't know if I care all that much about the multiplayer, despite thinking it does look cool. I could see myself watching cutscenes on YouTube or something, but they're I don't know, man.
Here's the thing. I don't have a ton of new right now. Like I've got Elliot that comes out in 2 days. I think that Star Fox will be a nice in between. Like I can be playing Elliot. That's going to be kind of my Zelda like. I'm not going to talk about it tonight because the game comes out and I'll talk about it next week. But I did finish the prologue and really am enjoying like where it's going. I think it's getting pretty good marks. I think like 83 on OpenCritic is what I saw for it. I kind of figured it would be like in the 7s or 8s for folks, but I'll report more on that one. But the Star Fox demo did everything I wanted it to. The music was great. I think the character designs are growing on me a little bit. I'm enjoying it. The R-Wing looked great. Like that's still one of the coolest ships design. Like
Yeah, I agree.
So-
I think it's only looked worse since the Super Nintendo version. I love the original polygonal one. I think that just looks incredible. So any more detail they keep adding to it, I was like, why are you making the R-Wing worse? It was perfect before. But
it's a beautiful baby.
You gotta give it higher res, I suppose.
So that's Star Fox. It is not Star Fox 64 remaster or remake. They are just calling it straight Star Fox. I'm curious to see how this does. I think it'll do well. I don't know if what I would like to see is the data if it's available. I know all of us millennial saps are excited, but was the Mario movie enough to get a new generation excited about this character to the point where they'd want to play this game? That's
How
what
much
I'm
is
really.
he even in the movie? Like, is he? More
He's
than
in it
just
a
cameo?
lot, apparently.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah,
I still haven't watched it.
He's not a cameo for sure. Like, he's in it for a bit.
Okay.
So anyway, that's Star Fox. That is out on June 25th. We'll probably stream that at some point. We'll definitely talk about it more. But I want to do a quick hit for you. I also beat 007 First Light.
Hey,
and
congrats.
That game was a ton of fun. I think it took me I was around 14 hours on that. And I didn't do all the side extra bonus mission shit to unlock new guns and stuff, but hell of a Bond story. Really great first entry from them into Bond. There's a lot of connective tissue to Hitman. I've talked a lot about that game already. It surprised me a good amount, on just how well of a Bond story it was. I knew mechanically it'd be a fun game, but for a licensed property, that was very fucking good. And I highly recommend it. I am continuing, though, to enjoy Mina, the Hollower, a ton. That game is so charming. It's got so much depth to it. And I've cleared 2 towers now. I've powered up, sparked up 2 towers. So I think there's 4 more to go, or maybe 5 more to go. But I'm really enjoying that game. I feel dumb sometimes and I feel very smart at other times. But if you're listening to this and you're worried about it being hard, lower it down. Play it how you want to play it and have a great time with it. I lowered the difficulty, or at least the damage from bosses required to beat them. And I still drop my shit if I die. I'm not playing it that way, but having a great time. And the other game that I did spend some time with that we did cover, I can't remember your temperature on it though, but Voidling Bound came out. And this was the one that you were like, is this a creature collector?
Oh, yeah.
Or you're actually playing as the creature or the Voidling?
Right. Like the roguelike where you're sending a creature down and then you're collecting other potential creatures. Or
yeah. So
or whatever.
This is a mission base or a run. I don't think a run is the best way to classify it, because these are missions that have pass fail mechanics to clear them. So most missions are 3 stars. I can't remember each category, but it's did you get all the things? Did you find all the eggs? In your performance, you cleared it in less than 5 minutes. So what you are doing is you are collecting voidlings. They have elemental characteristics. It is a fucking crazy evolution chart. This thing looks like a Skyrim star map. And because you can start to go down these paths where it's all right, this voidling has a path of evolution that's electric, or it has one that's ice. And you want to decide, because when you go into these missions, it's going to tell you the enemy encounter types, and they're going to have a weakness. So it's kind of I don't want to call it a hero shooter by any stretch, but when you are controlling a voidling, they have an elemental ability that is kind of like a fast, quick hitting shot. So it's a ranged attack. They do have a melee attack, and then they have a secondary attack. So you might be shooting ice shards and then throwing a big ice bomb that has a little ground coverage that when other creatures walk over it, they're going to take damage over time. So you've got those. You have a dash. You have a jump. And you're going into these environments that have some sort of corruption that you're using your elemental ability or your ability to cleanse. And you do that in a few of these little things. So it's go find the eggs, find this stuff. And once you clear it, you can summon a boss. And then when you clear that boss, depending on how you do or what they have, they're going to drop the materia or materials that you would need to do further evolutions of that type. Because as you go out this spider web, the evolutions, they're not based off of leveling up as much as they're based off of, do you have the material to do this? And so the first wave is okay, cool. You just need one ice crystal and you can do this evolution, and it's going to get you these things. And your characters, they start to physically change the further you go down these evolution changes as well. But then it's okay, this one's 5. All right, now this one's 10. And some of these drops are harder to come by. So you want to go to a higher stakes, higher star drop. You're going to try and get the material, then you're going to keep upgrading and kind of go on that loop. But you can find golden eggs. And when you find a golden egg, you get like a mutated version of a voidling that has some more passive traits and really cool stuff, but you can't evolve them. They're fully evolved once you hatch the egg. So that's the other end. So that's the end of the loop. So when you do the loop, you're going out, you're getting the material to upgrade, you're finding eggs, you're clearing the boss, getting those things, progressing the story. You come back, you have like this big open atrium that all your voidlings hang out in on the ship. And then you have a hatch station. And you're going to see all your eggs, and it feels kind of loot box-X, but not pervasive in that way. It's just you're going to open these and get a really cool fanfare when you do it. And then you can upgrade, evolve. There's one machine I haven't fully opened up yet to use. I don't know what that's going to be, but you've watched me play Deep Rock Galactic enough, and the way that you drop into the missions on like a Deep Rock is very much how you drop into stuff here, because you're going to look at a map and you're going to see, cool, it's that enemy type. Oh, it's going to get me those drops. I want to go do this so I can keep working on this thing. And all the missions are replayable also. So like one of them is you need to beat this in 4 minutes. And when I beat it, it was like, you did that in 15. I'm like, well, yeah, because I wanted to get all the stuff, and that boss took me a while. So like I could see.
Do you have to star everything on the same run, or can you do different stars?
You can go back.
Runs? Okay.
So I'm working to like level up to go and do that one right now.
Sure, but do you have to collect all the stuff and finish it within 5 minutes to get the full stars?
No. Once you have your stars, you got them.
Okay, cool.
So if you take that time to do like your exploration, that's what I've been doing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just get the shit, kind of get the lay of the land, know the boss, and then I'll go and level up and come back and just smoke him and be done with it.
And there's no like mutagenics kind of thing of I only keep these voidlings for so long.
No, I do think you might run out of room. I haven't had that happen yet, but I think I'm going to have to like get rid of some, which there's one, I think it's called like a Quipling or something like that. I have a lot of those. They're the early ones. So I can get some of the, and I don't know if there's going to be a way to infuse to where you can like inherit traits or just like level up by eating another one of these. Maybe it'll do something like that, but it plays really cool. Like the mechanics are great. The loop is really satisfying. I'm enjoying the strategy of like, I just had a run earlier on my lunch break today where I dropped in, and it's like, oh, I've actually got this thing leveled up, and I element, like I had the right element to go in and match and do the fight with everything. I found 2 golden eggs. It was just like, oh, that was a really good run. I came back, upgraded a bunch of shit, and then you can just pick which voidling you're going to take with you. I think the game's $20, by the way. I don't know if they've made other shit either. Let me see here. Bound Steam.
I mean, the art style itself, I think, looks fine. It looks like a step above, a kind of. It doesn't look cheap for sure, but it also doesn't look like super polished either. And I think that could be potentially. I think people might write it off for something like that, but it seems like there's a lot under the hood, and that it's got a lot of ideas and mechanics stuffed into it.
Totally. Like I have a real tanky turtle, which is cool. He's a lot of fun. He has he does like a damage over time on all his attacks. So like when he hits, a little growth of poison comes out, and his big one, this big bubble. So like if I do a secondary, there's like a cluster. If I can just hit one of them, they all kind of explode. But he also, rather than dodge, he puts up kind of a, what was the big fucking dome move on Destiny? The Titan pop?
Sure, yeah, like Titan bubble.
It would be that, but like the shield that you would use with the half shield. So like you would just put the half shield down for the Titan. So this character's all about like just taking the hit, getting in there. So if you have like a big spawn rate and maybe a poison substance, like take that guy in there with you. There was one more thing on here I was going to say. Oh, Hatchery Games makes it. Looks like their first thing. It has a few different versions you can get. It's $25 to begin with. It's on sale for $22.49 right now. They've got a supporter pack that has the art book, and they have a soundtrack. So you can upgrade it there if you want to, but I don't know if this is on everything else right now. I think it's just PC maybe. It is a full release. There is a demo right now also on Steam if you want to check it out and see what it's about. But
cool.
It's cool. Like
Demo,
I think,
like not part of the Next Fest. Like this thing's out.
yeah, this game is out, but it has a demo. I've got 2 hours into it, by the way. So I've done a handful of runs on this, but I still have a lot to go. And I think this will be a passively played game. Like it doesn't require a lot. If I want to go do like a couple runs and call it good, that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I'm having a good time playing it that way.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Well, Bobby, speaking of demos, I have also played a demo recently. Bobby, let me ask you if you were to describe things that Chase likes, what are some?
Ooh,
of the
that's
things
harder.
that
I can talk about a lot of things you don't like.
Well, that's yeah, that's probably true. But
you
know,
liking things. You like pizza with pepperoni?
I mean, in a video game sense.
You want to like be able to break things. You like cards. You like tactile
cards. Like, sure. Yeah.
You're a bit of a weeb, so I think that you have a soft spot for anime things.
Okay, sure.
You are.
If I were to play a game that would, would I rather have like an action game or like a turn-based game?
Oh, you are a turn-based motherfucker. You don't like open worlds. You don't like action RPGs.
That's not true. I do like action RPG, and I've enjoyed open world games. But you're right. If I'm like crafting my perfect game, I'm gonna think about
folklore.
Like cards.
You like Eastern folklore.
Sure. I've talked about Romance of the Three Kingdoms on this podcast in a number of instances. I'm a big Dynasty Warriors fan. Yeah, so liking Three Kingdoms. I like cards. I like tactics and turn-based games. So what if I told you, Bobby, there was a tactics turn-based, I guess it's not technically turn-based, but kind of turn-based, tactics card game in the Three Kingdoms universe.
Oh, no.
Does this sound like my perfect game?
I think it sounds like something that you would really obsess over. But I think ultimately you wouldn't like it because you don't like video games.
Well, what if I told you I really wanted to like this video game?
That's fair.
But the video game did not want me to like it. Bobby, I have played the demo for Sangokushi Bond.
This thing looks rough.
So this was, we saw there was a Next Fest going on.
Chase, you slut.
We played a few games on the Next Fest for our Monday preview. And this was when I said, Bobby, this looks interesting. I'm going to grab this because it does seem like a lot of the things that I like, but I don't want you to play this on the show on Monday because one, I don't think it's allowed. I don't think it's going to be good, and I don't think you would like it, but I'm going to try it anyway. So I decided to download it, and I have tried this.
This looks like video poker.
It kind of does.
It does.
A mix between video poker and like the animations that play.
This looks like something that like a long Granny Ash and just like hitting a button, sitting there smoking in the corner of a hazy gas station.
Yeah. So,
God, you must be truly desperate.
I'm not, because I realized very quickly this is not the game for me. So this is Sangokushi Bond. Sangokushi is I believe that's Japanese for the Three Kingdoms.
Naturally.
So San is 3, and everything else probably just makes sense. The idea here, though, is that this is an auto battler card game with Three Kingdoms trappings around it, where you will pick a general, and then you'll pick a few officers that each have cards, and then you put them on a tactics-based grid, and then you have them go into auto battle attacks. And once one army defeats the other army, then they can go to the castle that's on the other side, and then they're trying to siege the castle. So
this is an auto battler, though.
It is an auto battler. So you kind of send your guys out, and if they win against the army, then they get to chip away at the castle. At like the actual goal is to siege the castle, and if they lose, then your enemy is going to hit your castle, and the castles can fight back. So it's not gonna last forever. And then you get a couple of different rounds where you get to go around a big map, and the map allows you to choose. The map allows you to kind of give you an idea of the next generals that you might be able to, or the next officers that you might be able to recruit for your army. Unlike a lot of other auto battlers, you're not getting multiple copies of the same one that strengthens it. You're just getting new people every time. But those people will each have an attack stat and a defense stat, and then they'll have some kind of modifier on them of, hey, they'll give anybody from the Wei army, +3 force, which I believe force is the attack stat here. I'll tell you, it's also very complicated to understand what's going on in the game because most of it is still just kind of in Japanese and or Chinese. I believe I was seeing, I mean, it's in kanji, so that's hard for me to say which one they're actually going for here. But I think this is a Japanese studio, even though it's a Chinese folklore thing. And also, it doesn't help that when you start the game, it is in English. There is an English version of it. But when you go into the tutorial, which kind of automatically pops up, the tutorial, and again, this is a demo, so maybe they'll fix it.
Sure.
The tutorial was all in Chinese or Japanese, which meant I didn't understand how the game worked. And then it popped me back out to the English, and I went, well, okay. So
You sweet summer child.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was just like trying to guess at what all these mechanics were doing.
But don't you already have Three Kingdoms at home?
I have lots of Three Kingdoms in lots of different formats.
I guess I understand the appeal here, but I just have to ask, like, you watched the trailer for this before you downloaded it and played it, correct?
I did, and I think the trailer, yes, when you look at the actual battle mechanics, they are some really cheap looking 3D models. But I think the 2D art on the cards looks pretty good. I am seeing some characters that I know and love, like, oh, there's Cao Cao, or there's Gan Ning. I like these guys, and just the idea of a turn-based tactics card game, Three Kingdoms thing, that sounds like it should be my shit.
You know what this is?
This
is a perfect rental.
This was a perfect demo.
That's my point. Yeah, that's why we like the Next Fest. It's just a fucking digital rental. It's all it is.
Yes, exactly. This game is bad. I don't think people should play this game. I think even if I understood exactly what was going on, I still don't think I would really like the game. There was a lot of stuff. There's also one last thing before I move on. There's some early battles. Like you can kind of go down these different missions. And there's a mission that says, hey, this is like tutorial mission stuff. We are teaching you about kind of the rock, paper, scissors here of archers beat spearmen, spearmen beat cavalry, cavalry beats archers. That's kind of like what they're teaching you in the early game. And so then they have these missions that you can go on, and it goes, hey, this is the anti-cavalry mission. We're going to give you a bunch of spearmen, and you're supposed to pick a bunch of spearmen, and then you can see how the spearmen are just better than the cavalry. And similar to what you were saying, there's a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star thing, like in Voidlands, where, hey, if you siege their full castle, you get a star and you get this new character. Or if you get 2 stars for not taking as much damage. Or if you get 3 stars, if all you do is use spearmen. I'm like, okay, well, sure, I can try using spearmen for this one. I'm supposed to anyway. That works. So then when you're going around and picking your different spots on the map of which officers might show up, there was a time where just no spearmen showed up. Like it didn't matter like which things I picked. It just didn't give me spearmen options.
Spearmen damn near killed him.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, wait a minute. You have a goal here of only using the guys with spears, and now you're not giving me a guy with a spear to upgrade my army. It was very.
Look, here's what you should do. There's two things you should consider doing to get right with the Lord.
Uninstalling and hiding it from my Steam library. Yes. I've done both of those things.
Fantastic. I did hear positive. If you are itching for more Journeying to the West, I did hear positive things about River City Saga, Journey to the West.
Journey to the West is a different story, but yes. There is also a River City Stories about the Three Kingdoms, which came out before.
What you should really do though, to just
wait for Dynasty Warriors 3 remastered.
Well, you're already doing that.
I am doing that.
You're chasing this high. And I know what you're chasing, and because I know the other thing you're playing, and I know why you're playing that. May I introduce a new obsession to you?
You may try.
Joan d'Arc. You absolutely should find a way with your Thor to play that one.
I would probably like Jeanne d'Arc. I've heard Jeanne d'Arc is pretty good.
I have really enjoyed what I've played of it, and I think it lives somewhere between a Fire Emblem and a Final Fantasy Tactics. And I think you would really dig a lot of the shit that it's doing.
Yeah, that originally came out on PSP, I believe.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I think that's the version I'm playing of it, is the PSP version. And it's really good. And I think like what you're playing with some of the Fire Emblem stuff from that period, well, you're playing a little bit before that period, but that's one that I would love for you to kind of force on the wheel, because I haven't finished it. Like,
I'm fine at it to the wheel, sure.
But if you ever get that one, I would probably try and play more of it with you.
Okay. I bet I'd like it. And,
I think you absolutely would.
It wouldn't be the first French-inspired tactics game that I played. That would be Banner of the Maid, which has you playing as Napoleon's sister, which was a lot of fun. I like that game for much more than I probably should have. But yeah, I've heard good things about Jeanne d'Arc, and I should probably play it. Jeanne d'Arc is like, is that actual French for Joan of Arc?
Yeah.
Yes, the idea is you're playing Joan of Arc.
Yep.
All right, but yes, you were alluding to it. The other video game that I have been playing is I'm still working on Fire Emblem Life of Saros, which is a ROM hack of Pokemon, or not Pokemon. I've been playing so many Pokemon ROM hacks too. It's a ROM hack of Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones on the GBA. And the story here is that it is a prequel to Three Houses that takes place like thousands of years before any of the stuff from Three Houses. But the idea is that you are playing as Saros, who would become Rhea in Three Houses. She's always been Rhea, but she takes on this form of Saros for this game, and then you see that story told a little bit in Three Houses as well. But it's been cool. I believe it has 23 chapters, and I'm on to chapter 28.
I was going to ask, like, you've...
Or 18, I mean, sorry.
When you've covered it here, you were... I don't think I would say you disliked it, but you were frustrated with it, it felt.
It was tough. Yeah. It was it feels harder than I generally like.
Has that maintained
my Fire Emblems? Yes and no. It has gotten easier for a couple reasons. One, I feel a little bit more comfortable with the Thor layout and RetroArch to get my save state stuff right. And so even though I am save scumming a lot of ways, but I just prefer save scumming on those things, because that is, I really just don't like wasting time. And if I have to redo an entire map, that feels like wasting time. But if I can just hit a save state and lose a turn and go, oh, well, I know what I should do now, it feels like a more fun puzzle to me. So that part's been better. And then also, as you go on, I think the game just gets easier. Even though they're throwing harder enemies at you, your squad has gotten so much stronger and has so many more options available to them that it really has become more of a little combat puzzle than a punishing tactics game for me, where it's, okay, hey, there's a magic user, I need to like put this guy in its way because this guy has really high res and it won't take any damage, and then I can come in with these two guys, and so I'm building strategies that feel harder to beat from the opponent, and now I can kind of feel like, okay, I'm going through these motions, but I'm also having a good time, seeing where the strengths are and exploiting the enemy's weaknesses. So that part's been good. I think there's also been some pretty cool things that they've added to this game from the ROM hack version that has added in some new kind of mechanical stuff. I like some of the new classes that are in there. The Brawler class, if you remember the Brawler from Three Houses that used fist weapons. Yeah. Like all of those had Brave style effects, so they would hit twice. Mm-hmm. You can do some pretty nasty things. They even have killer gloves, which the killer weapons have a high crit rate, so you can potentially like have 4 straight crits if you have the right person on. And that is very difficult for any enemy to live through, is if you can be doing 4 critical attacks all at once. There are some the way they've brought in the crest system from Three Houses. This is kind of the origin of the crests, where some of these characters have crests and they are able to share their crests with other characters. And so there is one specific crest that is you have a luck percent chance of just getting another turn. And I have one character who has pretty darn high luck, so he just gets like a 20 to 30% chance to take another turn after every action that he takes. And that's been pretty fun to mess around with. So you are starting to get some really cool things that allow you to play the game in more efficient ways. There's
That
also
type of shit's awesome. Like where they can start to build and these and again, not to like ape again for Joan Dark, but like if you there's a character that can enhance themselves physically, and it's a you have to build up this gauge to do it. And
Mhm.
when you're in the state, you can do more damage. But they've got this thing where like if you kill somebody on your attack while in that state, you get a whole ass turn again. And so you can start to really daisy chain across the map. And they do this other
Sure.
thing, like after it's either where you were standing where you killed somebody or where somebody was standing when they died. I think it's that one. So like if you have enemies stacked up and you kill one, there's a glowing ring where they were standing. And if you move another character into it, it like increases their attack rate.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so there's some little like I like when you start to have a strategy layer on these where you're adjusting the board or you're mapping out like the long play. It doesn't always work out, but hearing some of these things where there's not much quality of life from other stuff you've shared on the game, that stuff sounds cool. And I don't know if that's the ROM hack or if that's just what the original ROM for this was, but that sounds
It,
nice.
yeah, it's the ROM hack. I mean, Fire Emblem 8 Sacred Stones had skills on characters,
Hmm.
but just the way that this game has been able to modify those systems and bring in some of this idea of sharing skills where that wasn't something you had before. They were all class based. So having the ability of sharing some of that stuff and making it a little bit more unique in your own army has been really solid. One of the other last thing I'll mention on this one, I feel like the mission design has been a lot more interesting than other, especially the original GBA Fire Emblem games, but even I would say modern Fire Emblem games. It feels like there's some more interesting mission design going on. There was one mission where Rhea, if you remember in Three Houses, she turns into that big dragon, the Immaculate one.
Hmm.
So in this game, there's a mission where she first transforms into the dragon and she goes berserk. So you no longer have control of your own lord in the game, but she's just in the center of the map, and now both your army and the opposing army need to try to get out of her way as she goes crazy and can attack things. So the way that you might want to play it is, oh, what if I put my guys here and now the enemy has to run in this way to try to get me, but then Rhea will see them and murder their asses.
Yeah.
So that is kind of fun, where you're playing the game in a slightly different way. They've added a new element there. And then this last mission I just did, it's a big siege of a castle, and she has taken her Immaculate One form again, but now she's calm and understands how it works. So now you get to control her as the big dragon, but she's kind of off on one side of the map, and then the rest of your army's on this other side. So this side, I'm just taking my one dragon and I'm moving up as far as I can go, and I'm killing everything, and everybody's trying to attack her, and they can't do any damage to her, and she's just running a fucking train through all these people. And then on the other side, I'm trying to kind of like keep up with her because I'm supposed to like meet in the middle to take on the big boss at the end. And so that was also a really cool mission of, yes, it's still just a kill boss mission, which most of the Fire Emblem maps are, but this one in particular is giving you more to do. It's having you take on more responsibilities on opposite sides of the map, and I think those mechanics are really cool. Just the scenario design of that has been really cool and feels fresh and inventive in a way that some other Fire Emblem games I've played have not felt. So this has got me excited. I haven't played a ton of Fire Emblem ROM hacks. I think it's maybe only two or three, and it's playing the ones that I have played have gotten me excited to try more someday. So this has been cool, and it's all also just been cool to kind of be back into the Fire Emblem Three Houses world and to see some things that I recognize and to like draw some connections between the two games. It's almost got me interested in playing the Fire Emblem Warriors Three
Hmm.
Hopes, because that's just more of that same story, and that probably connects
Well,
a little
if
bit
you
more.
do this right, you would have, because it sounds like you probably got at least either a devout weekend to
Yeah.
this, or a couple more weeks based on where you're at chapter wise. If you do that, then you kind of roll into September.
Yeah. It's it's a little tough though. I don't necessarily want to play a Fire Emblem game to play a Fire Emblem / Dynasty Warriors game to then play another Fire Emblem game to then play another Dynasty Warriors game. Like that's almost a little too on the nose for me, don't you think?
No, I think that sounds like a great use of your time.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Let's see what Shez is up to. Anyway, so I've been having a good time with that. Like I said, I'm on chapter 18 of 23, so there's not a ton left. But also in that same kind of, you know how I've talked about Super Robot Wars games before,
Hmm.
where, well, generally, yes, but when you get late enough into that game, every map becomes just huge. You have so many characters to deal with, and it feels like every map is now taking an hour plus to beat because there's just so many decisions to make. I really like the early games of a lot of Fire Emblems because you only have, 4 characters and you can only do so many things, and the maps go by a lot quicker for that reason.
Sure.
So now we're just getting to the point of, hey, I've got 14 guys on my side and they've got 40, and I'm just gonna slog through this and get through them. I mean, it's a fun slog. I'm having fun
Oh yeah.
still, but it is, hey, I'm signing up to spend another hour playing this video game, where before it was like, oh, I can do like a quick 20-minute hit and then be out, and now it's like, all right, I'm sitting
It
down.
gets
This is
it
a
gets
real
intense for sure.
commitment at that point. Anyway, so having good times gaming over here.
Yeah, man. The Thor continues to be a cool thing. Maybe we'll talk more about that device here soon.
Maybe.
Well, Chase, let's talk about some reported on. I think there's been some truth of this already. We know that much, right? But there's trouble in the house of Xbox again. As it seems to be a day that ends in Y. Another week, another problem. But we didn't cover it for a myriad of reasons on our Summer Games Fest recap. But what seemed like a pretty solid showing from Xbox on, we're back for the gamers, we are exclusive again, we're doing all this stuff, including showing off a new Senua game. And not only did they show that off, they are allegedly shuttering down Ninja Theory, the makers of said game. And there's a couple things floating around out there from reporting. It sounds like Ninja Theory. It sounds like, oh my God, Double Fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there was one more that I can't.
There was one more. It's this Bloomberg article, but I don't think I.
While Chase is looking that up, what they've been doing is allegedly there is some sort of conversation happening between these studios and Xbox regarding, hey, you can buy yourself out and become independent, or we can close you down. And it sounds like
it's Compulsion Games. I can't remember what Compulsion Games works on.
I know Compulsion Games. Let me pull up their Discog.
Were they?
That's the South of Midnight.
South of Midnight. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because now, unfortunately, the Sweet Baby Inc. grifters are out there saying that this is shutting down because Sweet Baby had something to do with South of Midnight. I never played We Happy Few, but I will tell you, South of Midnight was fucking awesome. And that game,
I know some people liked We Happy Few. It sounded like mechanically that game wasn't quite there, but it had some real vibes to it. But the Bloomberg article is basically, hey, Asha has sent this big email, and that was a different
the
story.
next 100 days, right?
Right. Like, hey, here's how bad shit is. It's fucking bleak out there. We're gonna have to really, I'm obviously paraphrasing here, but we're gonna have to really tighten our belts here and we got to make some hard decisions moving forward.
Absolutely.
And you know, she's right. I don't know if you've looked around. Xbox ain't doing too hot right now for a multitude of reasons. And so while these changes probably are necessary, you probably do need to shed a bunch of these studios that you have not supported very well and are not able to support very well. It is bad for the studios because they're just going to get shut down. That is how most
Totally.
how most of these are going to work, and that's just how it's worked in general. We have seen an industry besieged with layoffs for the past few years, and it feels like it's only exponentially going up with each year of the amount of layoffs. I think we already have more layoffs this year than we did last year, and we're only in June.
Well,
So
there was also rumors that Xbox is going to be laying off a lot of people. There's also some like pretty higher up folks. I don't think there's anybody from Rare even left anymore. Some of the OG people, like there was two big players left Xbox over the weekend also.
Yeah, and there's also been rumors that maybe Microsoft would spin off Xbox entirely.
That I think that's out there. I think that
I
could
don't know
happen.
what that means, because Xbox without the big money from Microsoft feels like it would not even be able to sustain these things more than they have so far, and they aren't sustaining them very well right now. But the big Bloomberg, the point of the Bloomberg article that we are referencing is that some of those studios, the ones we mentioned, Compulsion, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory, are trying to negotiate with Xbox and Microsoft to buy themselves back and to go independent before Xbox can just shut them down entirely. That is not a tactic that always works. We have seen it work to some extent in the past. You know, Bungie has bought themselves back from studios before, and then allowed themselves to get purchased by other studios. Now as a Sony property. I believe Double Fine has gone through something similar to this before, where they had to buy themselves or separate themselves from a publisher to go independent. So they are kind of no strangers to this happening. But it is bleak. It is painting a bleak picture of Xbox right now of what they could possibly do for the future.
I have some thoughts on this, man, and I'm pretty disappointed because this year, especially like with Asha coming in, like there was this. We've rebranded, literally, like we've rebranded. We're going back to Xbox. We are here for the gamers. We are wanting to be the place that gamers love to go and celebrate and do this crazy thing that we do. And they slashed the price of Game Pass. They're like, we're going back in on exclusives again. We want you to have pride in what you're doing. I can understand, and I guess I need to see this play out officially before I like make a snap call here. But I don't think, while consoles are seemingly not getting much cheaper, and you're talking about your next prestige piece, Helix, being a $1,200 to $1,500 entry point for that product, that you are going to compel folks in this climate right now, because while gaming has been hit the hardest from what I've seen, tech in general and layoffs in general are a real thing right now. And people are just like, if you look at hardware spend this past holiday, it was the lowest it's been, I think, in like 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. The Switch 2 has even had a hard time cracking the ice, and they have far less shit happening and a lower MSRP right now. So you're going to tell me that Gears of War D-Day and moving some of these things are going to make people want to jump to $650. Here's the only saving grace they have from a strategy standpoint in 2026. The Grand Theft Auto will work on an Xbox Series S. And today, that is the cheapest way you can play Grand Theft Auto. So if you are on the fence and you want to play Grand Theft Auto, you will buy one of those. Matt Booty says that they can't keep up with demand. But Microsoft has also self-inflicted this in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But one of the biggest ones is they've bought up and they've fucking pushed Copilot down everybody's throat. They are not helping with any of the AI stuff that is cannibalizing all of the hardware stuff on top of it. So you're trying to enter back into exclusivity and trying to be the OG Xbox again. but you are not dealing with a $200 to $300 MSRP any longer, where this can be a hobbyist thing. You're now in a pro grade level where you're expecting people to pay that when they can just get a fucking PC or a Steam Deck or any of those things. And your catalog of what you're potentially going to have to get people there, if you want gamers to care about it, stop getting rid of the people who make the things gamers care about, because they don't care about your hardware. They haven't cared about your hardware since the Xbox One. xCloud has not taken off. Game Pass fucking ballooned out, bellied up, and died based off of how you treated it and how you stopped putting games out that people wanted. And why wouldn't you go and get a fucking PlayStation at this point? You get better exclusivity and you get all the best of what you have right now at that point on a better piece of hardware. And so I don't understand what they're doing when Asha's talking about we need a different business strategy and we need to think about how people get our games in their hands. You've already failed at cloud. You've already failed at it. People don't want to fucking do that. So what are you going to do? Rent a center out these $1,500 consoles to people now? Like, are you going to go back into like a pay to play mindset? I don't fucking know, but it made more sense to me to tackle as basically what Sega did. You're Microsoft. You are a software publisher. You put that out. You make a shit ton off of one.
They're also a bad software publisher that we've seen recently.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but Microsoft Office, Outlook, Windows, for God's sake, are still the biggest entry points. Like they know how to go out and basically say, like Google does this too with Chromebooks. They don't physically make it, but they say this is going to be a spec'd out, like you're going to get these things with it. The Xbox could become whatever, like an Xbox could be an Amazon Fire Stick, is what Phil was trying to do. I don't think that worked well. And they fucked over their base, but their base had already jumped ship. When's the last time you bought a fucking Xbox, Chase?
The Xbox One.
Totally. Like, yeah. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know who they're going for. And I don't know who in their right mind's looking at this and saying, like, this is great.
Well, I mean, this is not me okaying. I'm not justifying anything they did in terms of I think it's okay. But Microsoft is a big ship, and Xbox has become a big ship at this point. It makes it hard to steer. It puts them on a path that it's very difficult to get off of. So I understand from a business perspective, hey, we need to cut some weight here. We need to become a more nimble company that is able to shift with the times and find something new and innovative. And we can't do that if we're constantly siphoning off money to pay all these studios that we own that we're not supporting all that well. So if you cut them off, okay, great. I think that sucks. It sucks for all the studios that you bought who are just going to end up losing people. I applaud studios like Double Fine and Ninja Theory who are trying to stay alive however they can. But you are going to have a lot of studios that just are going to have a bunch of layoffs. So that is the shitty reality of it, but it does make Xbox more viable in the future. The other problem that is that, this is still a corporate America thing. Number has to go up, line has to go up. We can't, while it makes sense to people like you and me of nobody's going to buy a $1,200, $1,500 console. What if you just kept making games on this hardware that people already own? I don't think they have the option of doing that because one, you're going to have stockholders, people who are like, whoa, that feels like not going forward. If you're not moving forward, you're falling back, and we can't possibly have that. I think I think they're too scared to be able to do something like that. But I don't know. It's really tough. I think we're getting into a point where we don't even really need new consoles. I kind of felt that for the last couple of console cycles of people have been decrying that there's no games on these systems, and it's because it takes a while to make games. What was it?
Naughty Dog hasn't put out a new thing.
Exactly. They've only done remakes on the PS5 on the PS5 at all. So if it used to be that you'd get a couple of Grand Theft Auto games that were on the PlayStation too. Like
we hadn't had a new Grand Theft Auto since PS3.
Yeah. And so it's wild how big things have gotten and slow things have gotten, and yet we're also getting more video games than ever before. It just does feel unsustainable, and this does feel kind of like that late stage capitalism of video games going, hey, I think the wheels are actually coming off at this point. The bubble is actually bursting, and there's not a whole heck of a lot we can do about it. It's
all the shit, dude. It's the Marvelification. It's the MCUification. It's the Call of Duty-ification of all this, where it's
and a lot of that is Xbox and Microsoft fault.
100%.
Like what you were saying is they wanted to go so big so fast. They wanted to acquire all these developers. They wanted to feel like they had a big exclusivity thing, and then at some point the numbers still weren't good enough. So now you had to make everything multi-platform, and that pissed a bunch of people off too.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to go even wider with what you're doing, whether it was the Xbox One talking about being like a TV tuner to try to
Greg Maddox is to blame for all this.
Yeah, he certainly has a big hand in it, but just the idea of how can we get the biggest net possible, and some of those things that they've tried have been pretty big failures. That's where you get into the cloud stuff and the streaming stuff and the Game Pass stuff. And some of those things work and some of those don't. They bet big on something like Kinect because the Wii was popular. And like, well, what if we made our own Wii and we'll just call it Kinect? And so that was a big expense that went out there. We're having that same conversation when it comes to things like 3D and VR and AR. And a lot of that is just, we feel like we need to keep pushing to the new thing because one of us has to hit it big, right? And so much less of the focus is on just making great games or continuing to support the people who are making great games, because the audience for that is not exponential in the way that your stockholders need it to be. So they are kind of handcuffed in both instances. And I think Sony and Nintendo are just a little bit better positioned when it comes to knowing who their audience is. They have the size where they kind of know what their limits are. And they've certainly had missteps as well. But Microsoft has just had so much more money to throw at the problem that I think they've just ended up making the problem.
Let me ask you this, because I think that you would be an interesting person. So also, I know BDS is still a thing.
Yeah.
And this is just a genuine question for me. What would it take? What would make you feel compelled to even entertain switching back to an Xbox at this point?
I mean, it would take a lot. Obviously, the first step is the BDS stuff, like being
100%.
able to get out of that compliance. So let's assume that happens, which that's a big if. But if that does happen, I still think it's a tough road because I have now built that digital library. They have fucked up at that point that, I have a digital library that is on Sony and that is on Nintendo. And so if they come out with newer consoles of those things and I'm still able to access those libraries, Xbox had a chance. They could have done that from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, but they didn't do a great job of that. The backwards compatibility, they worked on it over time, but it was not there to begin with. And even over time, it was only so good. There were still some titles that weren't quite there. I know that I personally just did not like the feel of the Xbox One controller, despite really liking the Xbox 360 controller. So I think they'd have to find a way to have a controller that I thought was comfortable and I enjoyed again. But
can I ask this one thing about that? So
sure.
For you, I know that you're not a traditional PC gamer because of the interface and just the compatibility of shit. But to me, like the Steam box or Steam machine that they're building, and now Helix, if it truly ran Steam games and you just fired it up and used your controller and you could have console games and you could have a PC library, does that change anything for your interest on hardware to know that you could basically have the best of what I'm assuming the best of a PC experience, and that's in big fucking air quotes, people.
Mhm.
But if you could have a desktop, I'm sorry, a console-like window into a PC interface, would you be? Does that do it for you?
Maybe it's possible, but I think there's also and this is maybe a little bit more unique to me than somebody who is choosing whether to go Xbox or whether to go PlayStation. I don't. I mean, I'm not jazzed for a PlayStation 6 now either.
Totally.
It's not like I'm in the market to upgrade this console outside of something like Death Stranding 2. I mean, I know I'm going to be playing something like Dynasty Warriors 3 Remastered. I'm going to be
Final
playing on
Fantasy
which Final Fantasy?
7.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sorry. I was like, Resonance? Resonance is going to work on the Switch. But also, 7's supposed to be on all
that's on
consoles
everything.
sometime.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
So I could play that on a Switch if I want to. I don't think I'm going to. I think I am going to just keep it on my PlayStation because I have it.
Especially if it's like a save transfer thing.
But kind of like you, and you mentioned this earlier too, like I am mostly just playing games on my Thor and on my Switch. And enough stuff is on the Switch, and that's a console that I like. I like the form factor. I like the controller. I like the ability to play handheld or to play in docked mode. And I like my Thor as a handheld gaming system that covers a lot of older games that I very much appreciate. And I just have not seen a ton of brand new, super shiny video games that I absolutely care to play. That I need to have the most cutting edge technology for.
I think the Switch is still what I would recommend to most people. I think the Switch 2 is a fantastic piece of hardware, and it's only going to improve its library. Like the third party support for it is strong. There's a lot of cool shit on the Switch. It works like it is.
And obviously, it's going to have a lot of first party support. Eventually.
Absolutely.
I think if you were to ask me today, like, what is the console I should buy today? I would tell you a Switch 1, just because you still already have a ton of video games that you can play.
One of the best libraries.
That there's still new games being made for that. You know, there's still only a handful of games that are Switch 2 exclusive.
Yep.
And you're going to get a way better deal when it comes to, you know, when you're thinking about tariffs and you're thinking about console prices. You're going to get a way better deal on a really nice refurbished Switch 1 than you would even buying a Switch 2.
I'm surprised you never got a Switch Lite. I really am.
I mean, it wasn't important to me. I had a Switch that worked just fine. You know, I don't generally upgrade my consoles if I don't have to. I have a PS5. I don't have a PS5 Pro. I've never gotten any of the Pro console things. The Lite seemed fine, but my Switch 1 was working just fine. I didn't have an issue with it.
I've been seeing people mod those. That's the Switch Lites are getting modded. But
yeah, I can see that working. It is a good form factor.
I think we're gonna have to mod. It's gonna be a pretty rough year, I think, still for gaming. I really don't know what. We said this a lot. I don't know if Microsoft Xbox will be a thing. Maybe Xbox will be bought by somebody else. Who knows? Maybe they will spin it off and say good riddance. I do say that whatever is happening, I think Asha is communicating pretty openly and pretty candidly. And it doesn't seem like she is at least shying away from brand perception and brand mistakes. I have been professionally the inheritor of bad decisions that you've had to clean up, and it is no fun. And especially one this scrutinized right now.
I mean, I will say, when it first got announced that she was going to be taking over Xbox, I was definitely skeptical because she came from AI and thinking that, well, that's just natural that like Xbox is going to be completely fucked now and jammed with AI bullshit in the same way that all the other Microsoft properties are getting jammed with Copilot and AI bullshit. So I was very much not excited about that. I think she has at least done a good job, even though I still kind of don't trust her. But she has done a good job publicly of saying, hey, I want Xbox to be the best it can be. We're not going to throw a bunch of AI bullshit in there. We're trying to do things. We're trying to make things right. And I think she's genuine on that. And I think the actions that they have taken so far are probably the best actions they can take when it comes to potentially keeping Xbox alive as a property. I still don't like that that's going to mean a bunch of layoffs. I don't like that that's going to mean potential studio closures. I don't like that that means that one of my favorite developers of all time in Double Fine might get fucked over. I don't like any of those things. But if you are only caring that Microsoft or that Xbox as a brand sticks around, I think she is doing probably the best she can do.
I agree
when it comes to making that a
big plus one on all that. I think she's doing the best she can with what she has.
Yeah. And she doesn't have much. She wasn't left with much, and I think she's getting hamstrung by her parent company in a lot of ways. I don't think as much we've mentioned BDS. I'm still boycotting Xbox generally because of BDS. I don't think BDS has had a huge impact on Microsoft or Xbox.
Microsoft has done this to themselves.
Absolutely. But I don't think BDS has made a huge impact in terms of dollar amounts. I know, some people wanted to point to, look at all the Game Pass subscriptions that went down, because that was one of BDS's things. Like, down with Game Pass, but also the price hikes of Game Pass.
They already said when they raised the price, they lost over 50% of their subscriber base.
Totally, and that wasn't BDS. BDS might have been like 1% or 2%.
There's definitely people I know that you and Alex on Nextlander, like both of you have been really staunch about in a good way, like for your own moral compass. Like I think that's great, but even more so, you have gamers who are quote unquote voting with their wallets and going, "This is too expensive. Fuck you. I'm not doing this." Yeah, totally.
And BDS or no BDS, they have fumbled that, and so it is a tough road to hoe for her on all of those fronts. I don't know. I don't know what a world without Xbox is going to look like. I don't know if that necessarily makes a better landscape than it was before.
Consolidation sucks. Mm-hmm. It does. But there's a lot of people.
Microsoft.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. At the end of this, like you and I both know people professionally and personally that have been laid off due to the ever-changing environment. It sucks. We know people have been fired also. That sucks too. And there's just a lot of things right now that are making it rough to stay afloat. So we don't want there to be people in like this pool of people who care deeply about this profession that are having a hard go right now. So at the end of all these big corporate decisions are real people dealing with real consequences that the Ashas and others might not have to feel quite like others. So we are here to celebrate games, but also give you our opinion, and we will certainly do that. We gave a lot of them on Monday night when we checked out some of those demos that we did point to here. We're going to try and fire those up again on Monday night where we can, but we also had a shadow drop from two fights into two tight spaces, so we want to check that one out. Also, keep an eye out. We're going to do a deep dive next week. We've kind of gestured at what that might be covering on this episode, but we'd love to have you come back next week and hear our thoughts on something that we think is cool. So that's your teaser. Chase, you've been busy, I'm sure, doing all the internet biddings. What are you up to?
I've got my YouTube channel, Chase K Plays, where I'm currently playing through a Pokemon trading card game ROM hack called Pokemon TCG Generations. It's a series called I'm Still Just a Bill, and we are really approaching the end of that series. I've been having a fantastic time playing a card game with Pokemon in it that is not just the TCG Pocket. I'm still playing that for some reason. I don't know. I'm the phone one.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm still sticking with it. I have all the cards.
Still real to me, damn it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's been a fun series. Go check that out. We're approaching the end, and I have no idea what I'm going to be playing next, but I'm sure I'll find something pretty cool. I also have Pilot Program, which is a podcast I do with a good friend of our show, Pierce Gorshane, where Pierce and I watch the first episodes of every television show ever made. Our newest episode is out right now on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. We had a great time talking about that, and I think we got some pretty interesting critical ideas in there that, not just recapping the episode, but really talking about some cool stuff. So I would urge people to check that one out too. Our next episode is going to be big number 50, big milestone there. We do anime on every 10 episodes. So we're going to do a big anime this time. And what's bigger than Dragon Ball, the original Dragon
Nothing.
Ball?
What could be?
So, Dragon Ball Z. But
Oh, fair.
we decided to go more to the origin, and we're going to do the original Dragon Ball instead. So that could be fun. I think we haven't really talked about when we're scheduling that, but probably in the next month. I would imagine we probably record that after 4th of July, but we shall see. And then I've got my other YouTube channel on Magic the Gathering stuff. You've heard I like card games. I play Magic the Gathering too, and I've got a YouTube channel called Common Knowledge MTG, where I take a look at common Magic the Gathering cards and tell you if they are any good in the Pauper format or not, as a format where you can only use common cards, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. So go check out Common Knowledge MTG on YouTube to see all those videos. There's quite a few.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, we will be back on Monday with some fun stuff for everybody to check out. We appreciate you all watching and listening, and we will talk to you all then.